Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. Now, today's lesson is going to go into how the magnificence of the Lord, YAHAWAH, shall spring forth. All right, and it's kind of a play on words. Now that we're in the springtime, you see a lot more people outside, just enjoying nature, which is contrary to a few weeks ago, even maybe a month ago, to where it was cold. A lot of people would be in the house, As a matter of fact, this park that I was driving through, it kind of has a bad rep. So people are a little bit wary of coming through this park. Nevertheless, when springtime comes around, people normally forget their fears of, coming to this park just to see the infamous cherry blossoms. And my thing is, just thinking about it, at the magnificence of the Lord, everybody can benefit. The Lord's precious fruits that he brings forth upon the earth, that he allows to come forth year by year, all right, brings peace, and happiness to all. And this is why we need Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI to reset this earth, because Esau is doing a horrible job at it. I was watching this Netflix documentary last night called Seaspiracy, and they were going into how from all this whaling and putting animals in captivity, all right, which really, out of all the animals in captivity, is actually more that they put to death, all right, from fishing, overfishing, which is nothing wrong with fishing, but you gotta it's a balance to everything, and his rulers that be, all right, allow wickedness to go on. So the people are mourning with the chemtrails in the air, with the trash in the water, all right, even the fish are mourning, all right, they're beaching themselves, all right. They said whales have tons and tons of trash within their belly, so the current world is being run to shit, basically, for the rulers that be. The scriptures say, Proverbs 29:2, when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. The people mourning, the fish are mourning, but when YAHAWASHI comes back, there won't be any mourning. We also got to think about wars, the amount of mourning that wars bring, all right, not only because of course physical death, but the amount of money it takes. And because of the amount of money it takes, it's taking food out of the average citizens, or it's taking money out of the average citizens a hard-earned paycheck. So now they're suffering. Okay, so it's a lot. There's many reasons why this place, all right, has to be given into new management. All right, so going back, into the part I wanted to bring out of how in the springtime in this park, this you can receive the Lord's beauty, which I'm speaking in respect to the cherry blossoms. And again, all, which when I say all, I mean all nations, because in this park, you see so-called Chinese, you see so-called white people, so-called Hispanics, so-called blacks, all coming together to witness, the beautiful landscape. Whereas a few months back, nobody was outside. All right, because everything is dead. It was cold. It wasn't pleasant. But now it's getting warmer. People want to go outside. They want to work out. They want to enjoy the scenery. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 65, verse 9. Thou visitest the earth and waterest it. Thou greatly enrichest it with the river of God, which is full of water. Thou preparest them corn when thou hast so provided it. Thou waterest the ridges thereof abundantly. Thou sellest the furrows thereof. And that's another thing about spring, is that for the animals, the land animals, being that spring, it has to rain. It rains a lot. There's certain days where it rains a lot, and then there's certain days where it's just sunny to replenish, the plants, to replenish the waters, the rivers, to replenish the earth itself. Thou waterest the ridges thereof abundantly. Thou settlest the furrows thereof. Thou makest it soft with showers. Thou blessest the springing thereof. Thou crownest the year with thy goodness. And this proves that this is the beginning of the year. All right, because what is a crown? A crown is the head. All right. And what is the Lord's goodness? Well, as we see, the ambiance. Check out the ambiance. That the trees, as I mentioned, are growing. All right, the grass is growing. All right, you starting to hear birds chirping in the morning. All right, just the spirit of the people is lighter. So it says, thou crownest the year with thy goodness, and thy paths drop fatness. They drop upon the pastures of the wilderness, and the little hills rejoice on every side. Now, of course, going into physically, how, the landscape is dressed up, if you will. But we could also look at it on the spirit. We could also look at it on a spiritual aspect, where everyone, all right, because the little hills could also represent governments, like Jeremiah 23, 3 and 23 says. All right, so the people can also, be edified, or be replenished by the magnificence of the Lord. So how much more when YAHAWASHI comes back? All right, the scriptures call YAHAWASHI the day star. Okay, which again, when you look at it spiritually, all right, the spring brings in a day where everything comes back to life. All right, whereas the winter, all right, which will represent, in the scenario, will represent Esau, Edom, whereas everything dies. All right. So it says, they drop upon the pastures of the wilderness, and the little hills rejoice on every side. The pastures are clothed with flocks. The valleys also are covered over with corn. They shout for joy. They also sing. Okay. So all are going to shout, for joy at the death of Babylon. Eventually they will, because there's not going to be no more wars. All right. Happiness will be allowed. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born, YAHAWASHI, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders. All right. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Okay. And Yahweh gave us YAHAWASHI. Yahweh is going to give this world YAHAWASHI. All right. Whether you like it or not. All right. Which started off with the world of Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But on a second go around, all right, it's going to be the world of Israel. Once again, the elect, really, Yeah, you could say that, yeah, the elect, and then the elect all of Israel, but also the rest of the world as far as the government is concerned. All right, the rulership, new management. Okay, of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of Yahawah of hosts will perform this. Okay. And the scriptures say it is your father's good will to give you the kingdom. Roughly paraphrasing. So now when we go to Daniel's chapter chapter 7, verse I just come straight to the point. 26, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it until the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. Okay? The saints of the Most High, according to Psalms 50:5, Psalms 148:13 and 14, are Israel, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Okay? So all dominions is going to serve and obey him. All right? Which YAHAWASHI is going to beat these nations down and get it twisted. Nevertheless, you know, it's going to be appreciated. All right? More than, this kingdom of Esau. All right, this is the book of Micah, chapter 4, verse 1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountains of the house of Yahawah shall be established in the top of the mountains. Okay? Which the mountains are also representatives of governments. Hills and mountains, all right, which a hill is a smaller mountain, all right, represents governments. And it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it. Going to show you that again, all right, YAHAWASHI in Israel, that's going to reign with him, all right, the elect of Israel, 144,000, the innumerable multitude, as well as the rest, they're going to come back. All right, we're going to rule with him above everyone, And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of Yahawah, to the house of the God of Jacob. He will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahawah from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of Yahawah of hosts has spoken it. Okay? So, yeah, man, there's going to be peace under YAHAWASHI. That's why we need him to come back as soon as possible. Yep. Second Ezra 8:52. For unto you paradise is open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed, yeah, perfect goodness and wisdom. You know, and this is the perks that us of the hopeful elect look for, man. You know, which it has started with this knowledge, all right? And then ultimately it's going to be physically, with the way everyone can see it. The root of evil is sealed up from you, weakness in the mouth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and in the end issue the treasures of immortality. Okay? So, let me end it off with this. Psalms 145:1. David's psalm of praise. I will extol thee, my God, O King, and I will bless thy name forever and ever. Every day will I bless thee, and I will praise thy name forever and ever. Great is YAHAWAH, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall praise thy works to another, and shall declare thy mighty acts. I will speak of the glorious honor of thy majesty and of thy wondrous works. Okay? Hey, so with that, shalom to the elect.